Quiero que ustedes vean, estamos entrando por la puerta trasera para observar qué es lo que está pasando. Voy a compartirles a ustedes un poco de lo que está pasando en el evento ahorita, lo que está sucediendo. Déjenme ponerles aquí. Todos pueden estarlo viendo. Voy a tratar de compartirlo para que lo vean.
And they look at all the school teachers. You know, right? What we're doing right now is a new way of teaching, is Zoom. And so what's happening is for the school teachers, YouTube and Instagram and all those other guys just wiping them out. So the whole point here is this: is that artificial intelligence or technology is going to keep accelerating. You know, for Blair and I, our teacher was Buckminster Fuller, called it accelerating acceleration. Well, technology is going to accelerate now. And that's why these guys will get wiped out. And these guys here, if they think differently, if they actually question what's already inside their head, what's a little voice saying, they may do very, very well. But these guys here are toast. Even medical doctors. I was talking to my friend who's a doctor. You know, they don't need somebody to read your x-rays anymore because the computer can read your x-rays faster. You know, the person that monitors your breathing during surgery, a computer can do it better. It's the same as right now, you look at the drones, you know, that they're not, you know, we don't need fighter pilots anymore. A drone can go in there and do a better job. So this whole thing is changing at such a high rate of speed, but the people with old ideas, the old little voices are toast. They're screwed. And I'm afraid what's going to happen as unemployment rises across the world, we're going to have more social unrest and violence, maybe a war, maybe a revolution at the worst case. So that's why this is a very crucial time, and why I commend you for being part of this program here, is to open your mindset. If you still think, oh, I can get another job, I don't think so. I don't think so. Artificial intelligence will replace you. You can say, oh, well, you know, I drove a truck for 20 years. I can find another job. I don't think so. You know, that's like all these airline pilots. You know, I don't know. I was going to fly for the airlines, but I'm glad I didn't. And worst of all, the pensions of all of these guys are wiped out across the world. So we're going into one of the biggest depressions in world history, and how well you do in the next, from 2020 to 2030, will depend upon what you're thinking today. And again, that's why I commend you for being part of this program, because my job is not to tell you or verify or pat you on the butt and have you feel good about, oh yeah, I have a college degree. You know, I went to a very good school. So what? It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. Nothing. And so that's why right now, this is the most important thing you can be doing. Not so much listening to me, but asking yourself, what are you saying to yourself? What is your little voice saying to you? And so once again, I want you to look at this diagram, because this is the BNI side. And the most important thing today is ask yourself, what is my mission? Who's on my team? Do I have great designers? Do I have great attorneys? Do I have good engineers and systems people? Do I have people who can build a business for me? Do I have excellent sales and communication skills? Am I good on YouTube and Twitter and all this? And how is my cash flow? How much in taxes am I not paying? And then most of all, how good a leader am I? Because your product means zero, nothing, if you don't have this here. So those are some of the things that I said I would teach for Blair, and have you see if you cannot see. But it goes back to this thing here. This here is poor dad. I have a PhD. Nothing. Who cares? Your banker won't give you any money for a PhD. But when I went into my banks and started borrowing money, I could borrow money because I had one of these. They didn't care if I had one of these. They don't care. They care if you have one of these. And what they care about is how good are you at managing your cash flow. Your bottom line is called. I have a lot of money. It's very easy because I have a lot of cash flow. But because I have a lot of cash flow, a lot of assets, I have a lot of gold, silver, Bitcoin, real estate, they're all cash flowing. It's easy to get loans because in 1971, the US dollar became debt, became an IOU. So many people today, especially these people here, they're still operating, you've got to get out of debt. Debt is bad. Live debt free. Stupid, stupid, stupid. You've got to learn how to use debt to acquire assets. And interest rates in America today are about 1%. They're probably going to go to negative 5%. That means if you're a saver, the banks will charge you 5% to save money. But if you're a borrower, the banks will pay you to borrow money. But you just don't borrow money, you have to borrow money to acquire an asset. That's the world we live in today. And I'll say it one more time, the rich are really, really rich because we borrow money to buy assets because money is debt. After 1971, the US dollar became debt, an IOU. So we borrow money used to acquire assets. The poor middle class are going broke because their debt costs too much money. If you use a credit card, your interest rates are about 18 to 20% on a credit card. If you're really poor and you go to what's called a payday loan in America, then interest rates could be as high as 30 to 50%. So the rich get money at really cheap rates because they know how to use debt to acquire assets. And the poor middle class grow poor because their debt on credit cards or student loan debts or payday loan debt is the highest. So those are some of the basic lessons that if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad or Cash Flow Quadrant, or you played the cash flow game, those are very simply the lessons that are important to learn today. But I'll leave you with this thought again, is what's between this year and this year. If you don't change that little voice, nothing changes. So with that, I'll turn it back to Blair. Blair, any comments, any questions before I take off here?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much. And if you guys have learned a lot and Robert's rocked your world a little bit, type in yes in the chat box. Now, Robert, you hit just about everything, and you make a really good analogy. A few months ago, you talked to our group, and we're going through some.
Señores, si quieren seguir viendo, gracias a todos los que nos están acompañando, gracias a los destrampados, a Divergentes. Si quieren seguir viendo toda esta transmisión, por favor entren aquí, descarga el app de Culebro. Es un evento a nivel mundial que solamente te va a costar descargar esta app y poder verlo. Hay más de 14 speakers hablando cómo llevar esto. Esto no importa si tengo dinero, si no tengo dinero, ¿cómo puedo sacar esto? Así es que descarga el app de Culebro para poder seguir viéndolo completamente gratis, ¿ok? Descarguen el app de Culebro y con eso van a tener acceso a toda esta información sin ningún costo. Gracias a los amigos, los destrampados que están haciendo esto para que la gente pueda transformar su cabeza. Gracias, porque los destrampados están ayudándonos a crear toda esta parte también, que no haya pretextos con la gente. Dice, es que no puedo. Aquí está, grandes maestros. Si a muchos les da sueño, pues ya saben, tienen que despertar porque esto se está poniendo feo y esta es una herramienta para que ustedes puedan seguir avanzando y seguir creciendo. Descarga el app de Culebro y con eso vas a tenerlo sin ningún problema. Descárgala y vas a poder seguir viendo todo este programa. Son 14 horas que podemos seguir aprendiendo para que te puedas defender y ya dejar de culpar a los demás. Buen día a todos.